Hello everyone, Bill Meridian presenting Violence, the Mars Explanation, December 9th, 2025. I have transitioned back to Vienna, Austria, thus I haven't posted anything in a while, but if you turn on the media and the news, everyone's wondering where the violence comes from, so let's give the planetary explanation. And first, I have the old website, billmeridian.com. It got so crowded that we just opened up an additional one, billmeridianastrology.com. Come and pay a visit. So violence, where is it coming from? It's very simple. The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of 2020, back in the days when Dell horoscope was still afloat, I pointed this out. We have a square here from 23 Aries 12, which is the position of Mars, to 23 Capricorn 51, the position of Pluto. So if the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction paints a picture for 20 years, here you have it. And if you're waiting to get out of this in 2040, that chart also has a Mars-Pluto square. So we're not getting away from this soon. And let me point out that Pluto at 23 Capricorn 51 is very close. It is conjunct the heliocentric heliocentric node of Saturn. So it has a particularly harsh vibe. And of course, it's global because here we have the Sun at 0 Capricorn 21, which is the world point. So this is pretty serious, and no wonder defense stocks have done well. Gun stocks like Smith & Wesson, SWBI on the NASDAQ, and Axon. You may not be familiar with Axon because they changed their name from Taser Incorporated. If you have violence, you need crowd control. That's Axon. All those companies have done well, and they'll probably continue to do well. So there's a tendency toward violence, and this is not the only chart under consideration. On October 17, 1781, at about 10 in the morning, General Cornwallis surrendered to the Revolutionary Army at Yorktown. Charles Jane used to state that you can declare a country, which the Declaration of Independence did, but it's not really valid until there's some substantial victory or the opponent, in this case the British Empire, is defeated, and that's what occurred on October 17, 1781. So Charles said this is one of the base horoscopes for the United States. Jim Lewis, our late friend who developed astrocartography into what it is today, used this as his national chart. He did all his ACG maps from America were based on this chart. And he pointed out that the Venus line ran right through California, which is the Golden State, and the Mars-Jupiter lines on the midheaven ran right through the center of Germany, where the United States had its greatest military victory. And in my analysis, I was trying to rectify horoscopes of the United States when Dell was still around. This chart shows the violent episodes in American history much better than the other charts, which are the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation charts. Now let's take a look. There you see Pluto, 4 Aquarius 24, Mars, 6 Aquarius 56, square the Iranian planet Hades at 6 Scorpio 59. So that's a very violent axis. This was the conclusion of a struggle against the British Empire. Now, Mars and Pluto, I'm sure you know. As I like to typify it, Pluto runs very deep. Mars-Pluto is angry feelings that come up from very deep within a person's psyche, and when ignited, the person just gets uncontrollably angry. It brings up anger from past lifetimes. I've seen this many times. It's the type of case where two people spend $10,000 in legal fees over a $1,000 item. The $1,000 item is not important, they just want to get each other. That's how strong Mars-Pluto is. And Hades just makes it worse. Hades is the Iranian bad boy. That means it's particularly brutal, a vicious type of anger. So you can see here we have the Mars-Pluto square. Here we have a Mars-Pluto conjunction square Hades. And you'll notice they are at, here we have 6 Taurus, rising with Uranus at about 7 Taurus, if you set the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction chart for New York City. And here we have 4 to 6, or really 4 to 7 fixed, very heavily afflicted. So here's one more. I presented this a few weeks ago. This is the city of Portland, straight out of the book of U.S. cities. And I don't know how the author, again, I don't know how he rectified the charts, but I found his charts to be accurate. Portland, November 10, 1843 at 12:33 p.m. LMT, which puts Mars at 6 Aquarius 31 and puts the ascendant at 4 Aquarius 33. So, putting that all together, what can we conclude? But the area from 4 to 7 fixed is very sensitive. It has a heavy Mars-Pluto tinge to it. And of course, here we have Pluto in Aquarius, transiting in Aquarius. Here in Portland, we have Mars in Aquarius. The ruler of Aquarius is obviously Uranus. So Mars, Uranus, Pluto, just to make it a little more volatile. So Pluto will reach 5 Aquarius in the spring, May 7th, 2026. Pluto stationary retrograde at 5 Aquarius 30. May 26th, May 26th of 2026, Mars is at 5 Taurus 30. So that will obviously be a square. This will ignite all the horoscopes that we just reviewed. So Portland may be the flashpoint. It may start something that spreads across the nation. It will begin a process of resistance, which is what the left calls it, or violence, which is what the rest of us call it, that will be met with reaction from the government. Charles Jane used to say that Pluto is the power that holds government together. So I imagine the resistance will get very intense and the government will have no recourse except to put these little rebellions down. We are, of course, as we all know, we are moving toward the Uranus return in the USA horoscope, which has coincided in the past with the American war between the states in World War II. And already we've divided the country up into red and blue states, just as Russia, Tsarist Russia, was divided up into white and red states. So the fuse is being lit. I consider this period coming up in the spring to be a key component leading up into that Uranus return period. So here's a 2028 eclipse. Where is it? It is at 6 Aquarius 11. It is conjunct Pluto at 6 Aquarius 45. So if this doesn't get that, if this does not energize that area, nothing will. So we're not quite out of the woods. And this 2028 eclipse will occur as Uranus is starting to experience its Uranus return. So keep your eye glued on this particular eclipse, which is January 26, 2028. So mastering geopolitical prediction is my experience, having done mundane astrology for Dell Horoscope for 30 years. So by this time I've been practicing it for about 40. And this will get you started with everything you need to know. And of course, there's the old favorite Predictive Power of Eclipse Paths, and there are books such as In Search 1 and 2, which are the basic journals that Charles Jane created way back in the 50s, and you'd be amazed how advanced their astrology was even back then. There's In Search 1 and In Search 2. So there are also other books which you'll find, such as Planetary Stock Trading 4, Planetary Economic Forecasting. There's the Cycles Research Early Warning Service, Cycles Forecast Political Forecasts. So that's it for today. I'll be coming back with to finish up the Saturn-Neptune series. And as I said, if you haven't listened to the earlier videos, Saturn-Neptune corresponds with scandals. And we just had one big one break in Minnesota. More to come, likely. As Charles Jane said, Neptune has got to do with liberalism, and he said Neptune was more responsible for bringing down countries than any other planet because it had to do with licentiousness, loose living, lack of adherence to principles, inflation to the currency, drug consumption. well, we're watching right now all left-wing Neptunian ventures like climate change falling apart, left-wing liberalism having a very tough time. Anything Neptunian is not working too well right now because reality, Saturn, is hitting it right in the face, and the conjunction isn't even exact until February of 2026. So more about that in a future video. This is Bill Meridian saying goodbye for now.